Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ray Tampa podcast. Our podcast offers bold commentary on various subject matters with a laser-like focus on the truth. My name is Ray Tampa. I'm the host of the Ray Tampa podcast. We have in our studio Mr. Russell Cato, a retired educator with more than 40 plus years of experience working in the Pinellas County schools, and Mr. Jamie Wilson III, a healthcare provider with more than 25 years working as a physical therapist. My dynamic co-hosts. Please bear with me for a moment. I love these two guys,
Love you
and
back.
I want to share a little bit of more information, just a little. Russ is 86 years old.
Trying to make 90.
Look at him, 42. That's what he looks like.
Yeah.
86 years old,
Trying to make it.
and he's still employed
Yeah.
at one of the city's recreation centers after more than 55 years. Jamie is a physical therapist, as I noted, but he's very close to completing nurse practitioner training, nurse practitioner,
Yeah. Some
just as his wife and son are doing. Here we have two awesome individuals, and I'm grateful, very grateful
Yeah.
that they're my co-host. Today's podcast is one that every resident should listen with care for their own good. Listen with care for your own good. There are people who can be called devils, evil individuals, scam artists, con men / women, swindlers, thieves, and more. Sometimes at the blink of an eye, you can lose all of your valuables because you let your guard down and trusted an individual or group of individuals of ill intent. While doing some research on another matter, I came across an article of interest. The article was published in the biography, dated February 7th, 2025, and written by Tyler Picotti and Tim Ott. The title is, quote, 10 infamous con artists who grifted their way into history. End of quote. Grifted their way into history. With such names on the list as George Parker, Amanda Riley, Charles Ponzi, and Frank Abagnale Jr. Every name on the list has an interesting story. But in my humble opinion, none more interesting than Frank Abagnale Jr. Mr. Abagnale Jr. assumed several identities, such as a doctor, an airline pilot, an assistant district attorney, and a college professor, all by the age of 19.
Wow.
All by the age of 19. A movie titled Catch Me If You Can was made based on Mr. Abagnale's exploits. Fellas, let's talk about some of Mr. Abagnale's exploits and those of others. Some names our audience may be familiar with, and others they may not. I want people to understand that today's podcast is being done in the context of this particular phrase. We study history to understand the present and possibly predict the future. Or we study history to understand the present to possibly navigate future concerns. These political or these con artists of the past have some very interesting stories that can be beneficial to all of us. So at this point, like I said, fellas, let's get into a discussion about Mr. Abagnale's exploits and those of others.
All right.
Because we have swindlers, thieves, con men, you name it, all over the place. And we got so much going on now that the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, is constantly putting out warnings about scams that are going on. Who wants to go first?
Well, we're living a grift with the current president.
Yes, yes.
With Trump. We're living a grift, and you really have to be careful in these times. But the thing is, people just, you need to read, you need to understand, and right now in this political climate, you really need to be aware. You got to constantly stay tuned, because people, this has opened the doors for more grift. It's going to be more like they were doing drops. This going to open the door for a lot more things, because people are being marginalized that didn't expect to be marginalized. You know, with this new president, and that opens the door for, you got people thinking, you got organizations thinking, how can I get him? Because I'm gonna tell you, they're gonna have to send out some more the money people were getting out, SBA loans and all that. Stimulus checks. They're gonna have to do that again. They're gonna have to do that again, because the tariffs, we haven't begun to feel the effects from the tariffs yet. I mean, it's a lot more coming, and it's a lot more crime with that. People are thinking now how to grift, so to speak.
So what we're doing is trying to offer to the public information that, as I said earlier, is going to prove beneficial to them if they pay attention. Russ, what you have?
If I piggyback on Jim, I think one of the biggest con men today is President Trump. And you got, these are special type of people, man. They are for personal benefits.
Personal. That's what grifting is about.
That's what they're looking for. And what they do, they sell you illusion, not reality. And that's what they do. But you know what, Campo? If you look at every one of them, anyone, they psychopathic, they manipulative, and they egotistical.
Right.
All. Psychopathic, manipulators, and what's the third one again?
What I say, psychopathic?
Yeah, manipulators and whatever, I can't remember the third one. Think about
egotistical.
Okay, good. Egotistical.
Yeah, that's what they are. That's what they're for.
Well, I want to go back to Mr. Abagnale Jr. For this young man to convince people that he's an airline pilot because he has on an airline pilot suit, outfit,
right,
and to convince people that he's a medical doctor because he has a coat on, and to convince people that he's a district attorney. How can he get away with such high-profile grifting, swindling? How?
It's privilege. It's a smile. It's studying people you want to be like, even if it's for a short term. I mean, that's what actors do when they're getting ready for a show. It's people can be taken. People can be taken.
Obviously,
you know. And that's what it takes. It takes work to do it. You got to practice certain mannerisms, how you sit. Like if you go, you broke as hell, but you're going to go in a place surrounded by rich people. You look at how they carry themselves, the body, the conversations, how they sit, how they drink. They know which spoon or fork to use to eat.
Right.
You study that.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's a right. It's an art form.
Excellent, Jake.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, obviously, this guy did his studying. He did his homework to the point that they made this movie, Catch Me If You Can. But I'll tell you now, a reporter decided to dig deeper into Mr. Abagnale's background. And this reporter brought up information to question whether he did all these exploits that he's getting credit for. The reporter said, no, he couldn't have done that. He couldn't have done this. He couldn't have done that because he was in jail at that time. You know, but the key to this situation is Mr. Bagnell convinced the FBI that what he did was in fact true. So that in itself is another grifting. He was able to convince the FBI to give him a consulting contract to use his information to study and understand the behaviors of other grifters. So he fooled the hell out of them too.
Exactly.
Just
pad your resume a little bit.
Let me piggyback on what Jamie said about the tariff. It's a funny thing I heard Elizabeth Warren said about the president this morning. He's playing a game of red light, green light.
Yeah. Red light, green light.
You know something?
Oh, man.
I'm gonna tell you who another grifter is, and he's Elon Musk.
Oh,
but let's be clear. Everybody's Elon Musk. Yeah, he's a dog. He's a racist dog. But Trump is allowing this. So Elon, people that grift, if they do give, they give with one hand, but they grab with the other hand. So he gave him $277 million to buy the presidency for him. But look at the, and you talk about welfare queen. He the biggest welfare queen in the world. This man is getting government contracts to the tune of probably billions by now. He got $700 million in the first couple of months he was there. So he's the real grifter.
Right.
And now Trump is saying, oh, he'll be gone in a few months. Yeah, he don't put these racist policies in place now. You think the people's going to see it as just Elon Musk. No, it's you, dude, because you allow him to do it.
And Trump doesn't care.
You don't care. You're racist.
He's been called a con man all his life.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
All of these billionaires are con men.
All of them. Look at the market, the way people's 401k, people that are retiring this year, shit out of luck. Because the 401ks are down. People are like calling, like I watch certain things online here about people calling and complaining, what can I do? People, stay in it. If you retire this year, hold on to it until his presidency's gone. It'll go back up. Don't panic sell. Do not panic sell. But the bottom line with that, Trump's friends knew this was coming. They knew about his policy, so they had already shorted the market. You short the market when you know it's going to come down. You're going to make millions and billions going down. Then you're going to buy everything low once it's bottom out. And then you're going to make millions and billions going back up. That's what they do. That's what the really, really rich do. And that's what they're doing now. They're not panicking. They're making money on the way down and the money on the way up.
But the thing about it is, there's nobody to
police
contest the ignorance, the stupidity, the illegalities of this administration.
Right.
Trump is in his office, and they're smiling about he made $900 million. He made $250 million. People in his office. Off of this insider trading.
That's basically what it is, because they're controlling the way things move. They're doing it. They know damn well tariffs going to make shit drop. They know this. The T word, that's tariffs. Well, they know this is going to make
let me say this, Jamie. If you look at Trump himself, he is not interested in being the president. He is interested in what the president role can give him. You understand that?
Right.
So what he does, and to answer Ray's question, he put people in the right places to help him to deliver that dream. Look at Pam Bondi.
Oh,
Look at Martin
man.
Russo. Look at
Oh,
Secretary of State. Look at the boy in the health department.
Mhm.
All these boys are, you know,
Yeah.
be honest. Look at the Supreme Court.
Right. Bought and sold. Everybody's bought.
They boys.
Yes, men.
Yes,
yeah.
And women.
Our government, I'm talking our
Yeah.
government
Yeah.
is all messed up.
It is. It's
When
the
you
wild,
talk
wild
about the
west.
Supreme
wild,
Court,
wild
there's
west.
nothing that we can trust
Nothing.
Nothing.
coming out of that Supreme Court.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Right.
Nothing. Nothing.
When you talk about Congress, especially on the House of Representatives
Yeah.
side, there's nothing we can trust
No, you can't.
coming out of that body.
No.
Mhm.
That
Nothing at all.
Mike Johnson,
No.
Speaker of the House of Representatives,
Oh,
his nose is tied to Trump's behind.
yes, sir. All
That
of them.
and they call that brown nosing.
Yeah.
His face is brown, not just his nose. His face is brown.
Mhm.
But
Oh man.
all we're doing is trying to let people know, be careful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Be careful. When you get these phone calls that you don't know where they're coming from,
Be careful.
don't answer the phone.
Be careful.
Don't respond. When you get these emails from people you never heard of, don't respond. Usually they're attempts to swindle you
Mhm.
out of something.
Yes.
When you get these false phone calls and it looks like somebody in your family, one number might be off, whatever,
Mhm.
and they're telling you that your grandson has been involved in an accident in Jacksonville, you live in St. Pete, and he needs some money, don't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't do it. And
Right.
and the list can go on and on and on.
You-
As a matter of
and-
fact, how many of you know what FTC stands for? FTC,
That's a. Is it federal?
Federal
Federal
Trade
Trade
Commission.
Commission. Yeah.
The Federal Trade Commission is that body in the federal government that is supposed to protect the
Yeah.
consumers in our country.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, supposed to protect. And they got a whole website full of valuable information. I'm talking about valuable information. They provide information to let people know of what scams are presently going on in the country.
Mhm.
How many of you have gotten an email supposedly saying that you need to pay this toll?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need
I
to
got
pay this
that.
toll.
Yeah.
You got one?
I got one of those.
Okay. I got trapped in that bull. I was in Georgia. And I'm trying to pay this toll
Yeah.
because they sent a picture of my vehicle.
Yeah. They threatened you. I got one.
Yeah, as if it was coming from the Department of Transportation.
Got one.
So I said, well, yeah, I'm constantly going that route. So let me go ahead and pay the toll. I spent almost an hour trying to pay the toll based on the numbers that were on the letter. I ended up sending money to London, England.
Mhm.
Thank God the bank gave me that money back. The bank gave me that money back. But I know now, I don't pay anything. I was in the doctor's office, guys, on Tuesday. Well, let's say Wednesday. And there was a lady sitting next to me and she was talking to the nurse. And she was telling the nurse about how she has been receiving all these calls from people saying that she need to pay a toll. Now, I'm not in that conversation,
Right,
but I'm
you hear
listening.
it. Right. Right.
And I'm thinking, God, we're going to do a podcast on that subject
Mhm.
this coming week. We're going to do a podcast. And I eventually joined the conversation because, as I stated, I was a victim
Mhm.
of that particular scam.
Right.
But the scams are all over the place.
Yeah.
All over. We got these people, what you call them? Confidence people.
Yeah.
They have to build confidence and they have to build your trust. And giving them your trust is your way of being a victim.
Yeah. True.
Mhm. I had a patient years ago. It was this little lady. She was well to do. She stayed out on the
Mhm.
beach. And you know how when you're like in you're up there, she doesn't go anywhere. She's basically stuck at home. So any phone call, They pick up the phone just to have somebody to talk to. But she, I think they recorded her just saying yes. It wasn't even on business or anything, but they recorded her just, they might ask, how are you doing today? Do you feel okay? They got her saying yes. They was able to have her pay, I think like $700-800 a month. She had the best lawyers. Like I say, she's a really rich lady, tried to get out of it. But they prey on old people for this, like really old people. They prey on them doing that. All they need is a recording. And I told my parents, do not answer the phone. If you don't recognize the number, don't pick it up. Because all you have to do is say yes. Yes.
Let me say
Good point, Jay.
Yeah. Let me piggyback off what Jamie is saying about the public. The word is vulnerability.
Vulnerability,
Mhm.
yes.
And that's what Trump has done with the public. For instance, if you go back and look at his goal really is to feed rich people in corporations. That's what he does. But what he does, he deflects from that. Look at what he's doing today. People voted for him to lower prices. That's what they voted for. That's what got Trump in. I want you to lower prices of goods. That man ain't done no shit like that.
Yeah.
Look what he's done. He has to pay these rich people. That's why he put this tariff thing in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
He
it.
has to pay
He
these
got to
rich
pay,
people.
yeah, rich people in
rich-
corporations.
Exactly. But even to expound upon that, he's in there.
Yeah,
Trump is in there for
he's smart too.
well, the main reason he's in there to be a catalyst for 2025
Yeah.
to get that started. And the
Yeah.
second, these tax breaks for the rich ends December 2025. They needed him there. They was going to do what, and I'm sure the election was rigged. I ain't gonna lie. I felt like with Musk, and I say this, I don't know for sure, but with Musk being, the electronic guru and tech guru and all that, it's no telling what the hell they did around the world to get this man in there. It really is.
And I agree with you. I agree with you. Because who can trust Musk?
Oh, man.
That rhymes a little. Who can
Yeah.
trust Musk?
That's Muskrat. That's Muskrat in the world.
Now, let's do a rap.
Yeah. Who can trust Musk?
Let's do a rap. Fuck,
Yes, so,
I
fuck
like
Musk.
that.
I have no
like
trust.
that, man.
yeah.
I like that.
Well,
But he had a purpose. He bought the president for him. Now you got to pay me. I gave you this hand. Now I'm grabbing. I'm grabbing contracts.
well, Trump said that publicly.
Yeah.
If you give me X amount of dollars, you're going to get that back. You're going to get that back.
He got it. Woo, he's got it. What? Billions now.
But you know what really pissed me off? When it comes to big law companies giving in to Trump.
Yeah,
That really
saying
pissed
they'll do it pro
yeah,
bono for him.
That really
I'm
pissed me
gonna tell you something. Like I always say,
that pissed me off.
everybody Republican is not racist, but racists definitely voted for Trump.
Yes, they did.
All of them voted for him. And because they thought, you see these people crying, and white people and Hispanic people, you see them crying, oh, Trump did this. Listen, bastards.
Yeah.
I'm glad y'all suffering. You need to fucking go kill yourself. Because I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
Y'all voted.
You voted
for him
voted
because
for
it was
that.
going to affect black people
That's
and
right.
Mexicans.
That's right.
That's why. That shit backfired. Now you go slit your fucking throat. That's
I'm
what
with
you
you.
need to do.
I'm with you, Jane, on that. You voted for it.
Yeah.
That's what you did.
That's what you get.
So much
We're used to
misery.
disparity.
Yes,
We're
sir.
born in disparity.
Born in.
Every law made has some type of negative racial connotation. We know this.
Yeah, but y'all voted for this.
Yeah.
I said suffer with it.
And the president that did the most was Biden. But he didn't talk about it. He did the most for black people. He didn't. Their messaging was terrible.
I'm glad that you said that, James.
It's true. Trump would have been, I did this, I did that. I brought people from the dead. He would be talking about everything. You got the message. Let people know what you did. Plies the rapper, he went on a big rant about that one time. His messaging, that's what hurts our party.
This guy, Charlemagne the God.
Oh, that boy.
Charlemagne the God.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, Charlemagne the devil.
He'll switch out.
Charlemagne the fool.
He'll switch out on me.
Charlemagne the nothing. I don't know where his popularity came from, but this guy is of no service.
Mm-hmm.
Of no service to us.
None.
None.
He's the male
No.
version of with that Candace girl.
Yeah,
He's like
Candace
a male.
Owens.
Yeah, Candace Owens.
Candace
He's like
Owens.
a male version of her.
I hope he hears this podcast
He can come
because I
get
want
some.
him to understand the
Charlemagne.
disdain that he has created
Mhm.
in our community. Charlemagne,
Over
the
here,
devil.
the devil.
Well, going back to our original intent is to give the public information about grifting and what can they do to protect themselves. I did mention the Federal Trade Commission earlier, and I want to dive a little deeper into that particular discussion. Google the Federal Trade Commission warns consumers. Google that. There's a lot of information they're providing, and the information is categorized. You know, if you're talking about consumer loans, debt, and credit scams, they got information. If you're talking about real estate investments, they got information. If you're talking about just about anything where you can be taken
Right.
by the swindlers, the scam artists, they got information. Now, the question is, once you're scammed, what can you do?
Yeah, that's
What
right.
can you do?
Well,
They got information.
they got
what you
information
can
on
do.
that too. Yeah. And a lot of these departments will mail you a letter. A lot of them won't call you because calling leaves a lot of wiggle room for, deception. So either you jump in your car, if you can't, send a family member down to the prospective office that is contacting you. That you're gonna have to do your own research. You just can't move out of fear. Because the first time somebody say you owe money, you did this, you panic. Don't panic. Don't panic. Take the time out to do your research. Go like Social Security. I'm sure it's Social Security
Yeah.
scams all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Go down to the office. Go down to the office and ask the questions and have them to pull you up. Give them your social at the office, not over the phone. Never over the phone. And old people, just stop answering the phone. If you don't know the people, stop answering the phone because they get y'all constantly.
Well, all of that's good. All of that's good because the Social Security Administration is an organization that so many people depend on.
Mm-hmm.
They depend on it for accurate information and they depend on it for timely delivery of their checks.
Yeah.
And scam artists know how to take advantage
Yeah.
of those two bits
Right.
of information.
Right.
They might start their scam a week before you're supposed to get your check.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want that check affected, so you might respond to them.
Right.
Like even these toll road scams, they'll tell you you need to pay this by tomorrow. When you got these emails telling you to do something in a hurry,
Mm-hmm.
don't do it.
Right.
Don't do it.
But you know what? I think the thing that really pisses me off when you look at the Trump administration, people have warned you what this man was going to do.
Right. We ain't just met him.
He ain't just met this guy. They told
Yeah.
him that he was going to cut Medicare.
Yeah.
So,
All of
and
that.
you still vote for this bastard.
They still voted for
What
him.
the?
You still, and all this stuff, him
Yeah.
closing programs and government,
Yeah.
federal, that opened the door for scam because there's
Yeah.
already fear
That's right.
and depression. So that gives
That's right.
the scammers the opportunity
That's right.
to come at you because they're like, there's no more funding. So
That's right.
they're going to believe what they hear.
That's right.
But I tell you what, we can spend 2 hours on this subject, but our 30-minute show is at the end. 30-minute show is at the
Like
end.
Jamie.
With that being said, I want to thank Russ and Jamie for another job well done. As always, I want to thank the audience for tuning in to the Ray Tampa podcast and ask that you do so each and every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m., 99.1 FM, The Berg. And we also ask that you go to YouTube, type in the Ray Tampa podcast, and you can see them all. We've done maybe close to 100 videos, 100. There's some that are not on YouTube, about 78 on YouTube. 78 videos. Go to YouTube,
Check 'em
check
out.
them all out. With that being said, good evening.